Hey, um, welcome to my first video. Super low production quality. I have a ring light about the size of a donut and a crappy mic and just my phone and a crappy tripod. So I'm doing my best here, but I decided to start some long form content and tell a little bit about my story. So we're going to fold clothes. Super exciting, and I'm just going to chit chat a little bit while I fold because your girl's got to get shit done. Um, I'm a mom. I've got a husband. I've got a family. I work. And yeah, I can't just be willy nilly, not getting things done. So, a little bit about me, my background. I grew up Mormon. I was the daughter of a single mom. Um, my parents divorced when I was very young. Like, I think their divorce was official when I was like 6 weeks old, I think. And I never knew what it was like to have a dad. My grandpa, who was my most prominent male figure through the first little bit of my life, he died when I was 5. Um, and yeah, never knew what it was like to have a dad, a grandpa. I had an older brother. Um, I have an older brother, but yeah, that's a little bit where I am. And I was a chunky kid. I was not skinny. I was poor. Again, single mom. My dad never paid child support. Um, and so yeah, I was just, I didn't know any different. So, um, like, I didn't think anything of it. Um, I grew up in a small town. I grew up in a trailer park in a small town. I was pretty popular considering being like a heavier kid and like being poor and everything's so based on name recognition and everything in a small town. But I was pretty popular. I had a lot of friends. Um, and not a lot of enemies, and no one was really mean to me. No one was ever really mean to me about my weight. I can remember a couple confrontations, but nothing super crazy. But yeah, so I go through elementary school. I do well in elementary school. We did a school play every year, and I was um, had a major part in just about all of them. Um, I did okay in middle school. I mean, middle school sucks for everybody, but I did okay in middle school. Um, but yeah, so then we get to high school and I start hanging out. This is an important part of the story to me. I haven't gone into this in my shorts or in my TikTok or Instagram, but this is an important part of the story to me because it helps frame my frame of mind a little bit as things happen. Um, when I was a freshman, I believe, I started hanging out with a friend. He was a boy, um, and he was obviously gay. Okay, so, but hold on to your hats. Like, okay, so he was obviously gay. Um, he was a super good friend to me. We talked all the time. We would talk for hours on the phone and stuff. I found myself as a girl falling in love with this guy, even though, and like, I remember even telling my mom, like, how I felt about him because he had some issues go on with his family and a few things. And I remember telling my mom how I felt about him, and she was like, Melissa, like, you're falling in love with him, like you're in love with him. but you can't be. Like, this isn't going to work, because she knew he was gay. He was obviously gay. And he had told me, but again, I was a Mormon, and you have to understand, in Mormon culture, I remember at a very early age someone telling me that if you are gay, and this was back in the early 2000s, if you are gay, you just need to get married or be with a woman, and like the Lord will provide. Like, it'll go away, you'll be fine, and you'll be able to get everything you're supposed to get in the afterlife. Um, so yeah, that I was like, I tried to convince him of that. I was like, maybe we should just try and date. Like, we get along so well. But I could tell he was like, no, like, bro, like, I'm gay. So that didn't work. Um, and then some things went down and we weren't as close anymore. And but I still invited him to do things with me. I asked him to dances and everything, because I was just super comfortable with him, and being a heavier set girl and everything, I was not super confident. I knew whoever I asked to go to a dance would go with me, but also at the same time, that they probably don't want to. So yeah, I asked him to promenade with me, which was a big dance that we did in my small town. We choreographed it, everything. Yeah, he would choreograph this dance, and the whole junior class would do it. The girls asked the boys to promenade, and the whole town would come watch. It was a big thing. And so I asked him to do that. And the prom was huge in my small town. Huge. Like, if you didn't have a date, like, someone would make sure you had a date. But you didn't want to be the girl that someone arranged a date, So but the boys, it was so you had your promenade partner, but your date was different. Sometimes they were the same people, but a lot of times they were different. And I didn't even know if my friend was going to ask anybody to the prom. I was hoping he would ask me, but he did not. And I was okay with that. But I was still worried, like, oh man, I don't want to be the girl that someone's arranging this date for. But I was in a class in high school, and me and one of my friends started turning around and talking to these two boys. They were best friends, and we would joke around. We had similar sense of humors. Like, we would have a good time. We would laugh and giggle. One of them was super outgoing, and I'd known him all my life. And I got along with him really well. And the other one was super quiet. He was super quiet. He was funny and nice, so that was cool. And one day, like 2 months before the prom, randomly, and you have to know, in Utah, like, you're supposed to ask someone to the prom in like a cutesy way. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, send them a bunch of donuts and be like, donut, you want me to go to the prom with you, or some stupid ass thing. Like, that's just what they do in Utah. At least in the heavily Mormon culture. Maybe they don't do it as much anymore. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But that's what it was like when I was growing up. So you're always like expecting something like that to happen. And randomly one day in this class, this quiet boy asks me, will you go to, because we were talking about the prom or something, and I said, like, who are you going with? And he's like, will you go to the prom with me? And I was like, are you joking? Like, I thought he was literally joking. Come to find out, his friend had told him to ask me, and I found out later that his friend had kind of said, well, she's fat, but she's got a great personality. But his friend had told him to ask me, and so he just took it upon himself at that moment when I brought up the prom to ask me. And of course, I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, I'll go with you. And so then I'm like relieved because even though I don't know this boy that well, he's all right. I'd had a few classes with him, and like I was like, you know what, it's a date, and I didn't have like some setup date. So um, yeah, I said yes. So we go to the prom. I actually win prom first attendant, which was super cool for me. Prom queen first attendant. I promenade with my friend. He ended up asking my other friend to go with him because he was at the last minute was like, I gotta have somebody. And so I was like, well, so and so doesn't have a date yet. Like, and so he asked her, and that was super sweet. And actually, she had asked my date to promenade. So we like swapped dates, which was kind of interesting. Anyway, sorry if you got lost in all the promenade issues, but um, I had fun with him that night. He didn't walk me to my door or anything, which I thought was a little weird, but he said he didn't feel good. So I was like, oh, it's all right. Um, but then I was like, oh, that was cool to go on a date that I was like actually asked to. So then I started talking to his friend more that I was friends with and worked at the same place with. And I was like, you know, I'd go on another date with him because it was cool as a girl at this point in Utah to like have a boyfriend. Like, you know how it is in high school. Like most people want a boyfriend, most girls do. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like maybe this guy will be my boyfriend. Like we had a good time. So I started talking to his friend, and he starts like egging us both on to date each other. And his friend was dating a mutual friend of mine, and we had a lot of fun together. So we're like, oh, we can double, it'll be great. Like, yeah, we'll double date. So I start dating him, and he's really slow to do a lot of things. Like, me and my friends, after like 4 months, he still hadn't held my hand. Um, Me and my friends came up with this elaborate scheme one time to try and get him to hold my hand. Like, we just thought he was super shy. Slowly he does hold my hand. Slowly he does kiss me. Slowly we start acting like we're dating, and spending a bunch of time together and, you know, making out, like, um, doing all of that stuff. And then one night, I would say, I can't remember the exact timeline, but I would say it was maybe 6 months into our relationship, maybe more. We had already talked about getting married, like the whole bit. Hold on. Just making sure it's still filming. This is my first video. Okay. But we just, we'd start talked about like getting married and like all of it. And one night we're at my trailer watching Mad TV. If you remember Mad TV, I'm going to donate this. I don't want this anymore. But my trailer watching Mad TV, and he says, I've got to tell you something. And he told me some pretty personal things. I won't go into those for his privacy. But then he tells me, I'm attracted to men and not women. And given my history with my best friend from previous time, I slightly panic in my head. I'm thinking, not again, not again. Like, I love this boy. I had fallen in love with this boy. I'm like, no, 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 no. Why me? Not again. Like, I can't handle this. Like, why me? Like, why can't I just. So I've got all this stuff flooding in my head. And then he says, but when I'm with you, it goes away. I'm still apprehensive. Everything in my body, my fight or flight response is like flight. Like, get the fuck out, Melissa. Like, what are you thinking? You've got to run. I will never forget that moment. And I've talked about it on my Instagram and stuff. I will never forget that moment because I was just in my mind like, run. And I didn't because I loved him. And he said that it went away when he was with me. And I believed him. I was like, yeah, yeah, like we can figure this out. Like, and that's the kind of person I am. Like, I'm not quick to judge. I'm not like quick to freak out. I might freak out in my head, but I can keep a level head with everyone. Um, but I'm not super quick to freak out. But that one kind of got me. I was like, okay. And then I remember talking to him later, like later that night, like being like, and I had a gay best friend. So I started asking him like inquiring questions about things because I knew what um, this was like. And he answered some of them. And then we just never talked about it for a really long time. We ended up graduating from high school, going to college, and that's probably where I'll stop this video. I'm almost done folding clothes. Probably be back with some more chores tomorrow while I talk. I'm hoping to get a better ring light between now and then. I'm apologize in advance for the video quality and the editing quality and the thumbnail quality and just, but this was something I've been wanting to do for a long time and start a YouTube and share my thoughts and try and help people. And I've started like TikTok and my Instagram, but I want to build a community and make something so negative into something positive for myself. And that's where I'm at. And again, I apologize. I'll get better as I learn. But if you're so inclined, please subscribe as I continue to still tell the story more. And if anybody's come over here from my TikTok or my Instagram to hear things more in depth, welcome. And I hope you enjoy watching me do things around the house because I can't really waste the time because I'm super busy going to donate that as well. And I'm trying to get my shit together. I really am. I'm all in on trying to get my shit together. So this year and finally do, like, I've thought about starting a YouTube just to like, because I love watching YouTube and just having like a friendly person just talking in the background and feeling like I connect with somebody. And I've wanted to start one as well, not like just to feel that connection and feel that friendship because of the situations I've been in. I don't have a ton of friends. I don't have like a lot of that outlet. So that's what I'm looking for. That's why I'm doing this. And hopefully it'll help somebody, but hopefully you can click the like button and subscribe button, ask me any questions in the comments, and probably one person will see this. So that's cool. I'm all right with that. I'll keep posting because I love to talk and I just got to get all my laundry done almost and talk to somebody the whole time. So thank you. And I hope to be back tomorrow. But yeah, thanks. Bye.